Alright everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to make a terrain in Arma 3 with Terrain Builder. We're going to be following my Instructable here, and let's just start this. So, first off, you're going to want Notepad++, simply click on the link, download, and press the installer for either 64-bit or 32-bit. Then you're going to want Arma 3 obviously, and Arma 3 tools. You can get Arma 3 tools by going to your Steam and go to tools. It should be around here, or you can simply search it up. There it is. All you gotta do is install it. I already have it installed, so I do not need to do this. Then you're also going to want to get L3D. This is just for the tutorial for the video. So we're just going to be using the standard edition. It isn't the greatest. You can't really make proper terrains with it, but it'll get you introduced to things like this. So you're just going to download that and install it. Now, next thing we're going to do is to mount our P drive with Bulldozer. So what you're going to want to do for this is you're going to want to open up Arma 3 tools. Press play. And now it's loaded. We're just going to go back here. So what we're going to do first is make sure everything is in the right place. So first we're going to check our project drive management. Oh, not that, my bad. I'm going to go here, and if it's in the right place, okay. If it's not in the right place, if you want to put your P drives or if your Arma's in a different location, you're going to want to untick use default for both of them and direct it to your to your Arma 3 directory and this to your drive. Let's say I had a Steam drive like this. I just put it here in anywhere in the Steam drive or K drive. But I don't do that, so I'm just going to use the OS and my P drive. And you're just going to press register, but I'll press cancel. Now, we're going to install Bulldozer. Just run that. Now to your work drive, run that. And extract game data. Run that. This will take a long time for the extraction of your game data. Usually, if you don't have it already installed and stuff, it will be asking you to purge existing data. But I don't really need to do this. I already have it done. Now we're going to configure your Terrain Builder to not actually crash or like freeze up and lock up your computer. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to go to where our Steam drive is installed, or not Steam drive. Just go to Properties, Browse Local Files, and here you are. You already at it without having to do anything. You're gonna go to Terrain Builder. Alright, so after you're here, you're going to want to create a shortcut. And right click the shortcut, go to Properties, Compatibility, and run this program in compatibility mode for Windows XP Service Pack 2. Then press Apply. Press OK. You can drag this to your desktop, just like that. And Terrain Builder shouldn't crash, but you will need to always enter your password if you have one like this. I'm pretty sure you can just simply run it as, or give it some kind of thing to make it not always have to do that. But anyways, now that we have that set up, we're going to configure Terrain Builder to work with Bulldozer properly. So what we're going to do is open Terrain Builder. Now we're going to go to Tools, Preferences, Bulldozer, and we're just going to scroll up, get Arma, right click it, Properties, Local Files, Browse Local Files, and we're going to find Arma364.exe. Now we're just going to go up here, Control C, and we're just going to simply copy this part and delete all of this if there isn't already this there. And we're going to go all the way back here like this, press left arrow key, and we're going to go to Arma 3 and right click this and copy the location. Oh, whoops. You can also simply just press up here, Control C, paste that. Now we're also going to enter the name for it. So we're just going to quickly copy the name. And that should be it for that. Press OK. I'm going to press cancel because I already have it set up. Now what we're going to do is create a tag for in your P drive. So what we're going to do now is go to your P drive, which should be located here, and we're going to full screen this. Now for your tag, you're going to want to make it something that is unique, something somebody else wouldn't use, so you don't conflict with theirs. So we're just going to call it, like, let's just say Kevin's first map ever, or something like that. But we're just going to call it, for simplicity, we're just going to call it tutorial. I'm going to delete the existing one I have. Just going to call it Tut. There you go. And there you go. Now we're just going to make a new one, call it Tut Terrain. Now that we have done that, we're going to make folders within the namespace. So now that we have this, we're going to open it, and we're going to go into here and make a new folder and call it source. Now we're going to go back, create a new file. Usually creating a text document like this works, and then you edit the end here. We're just going to call it PBO prefix with another $sign. We're going to click on it, right click it, edit with notepad. And we're just going to give it like the tag and namespace. So tut terrain. And that's it for that. Now we're also going to grab the map legend. So we're just going to click this, save image as, and we're going to go to our P drive. We're going to go down to tut, and oh no, we're just going to go to P drive and simply save it as map legend .png and save it as all file so it automatically converts into a PNG. Okay, now after we do that, we're going to scroll down to the layers.cfg. Now I want to download the things I provided here. This is just for simplicity, just if you want to like have basic things. So download this, download this, download this, download this, download that. And we're going to keep this, show in folder. We have all the things here. Whoops. Now, just going to go to here, go to source, drag the layers.configuration file into here. Check it real quick. Everything seems to be in working order. If you have a different tag and namespace, you might want to change it in here. And now we're going to make a new folder, call it data. And we're going to put all the RV mats in there. Oh, I put them in source. Put them into data. Now, we're going to be using L3D to generate our terrains. I've provided a climate for this, so it would match up with our layers and configuration file. So, just going to open up L3DT. Open up the standard edition because that's one you guys use. Or if you want to get into better terrains, I'd use the professional edition. It's not that expensive, but it costs money. You cannot make proper terrains with the standard edition. Now I'm not entirely sure why you get this, but it doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. Alright, so after you have this opened, what you're going to want to do is go to Resources, Climates, Climate Manager, and what we're going to do is load that tutorial .cli.xml. So we're just going to need to find where we put it, probably be where your downloads are. My downloads are in a different location, so I will need to download it again. There it is, show in folder. It's going to load one here, and here is the tutorial CLI. Now we're just going to press OK. Now we are ready to actually generate the terrain and satellite maps and stuff. Now we're going to press File, New Project, Designable Map Recommended, Next. Set the width to 512, set the height to 512, and press Next, Next. And for the default climate, we're going to be using the tutorial because it matches up with the layers.configuration. We're going to press Next, press Height Field, Water Map, Attributes Map, Texture Map. Now the reason why we don't use terrain normals is because it makes things look plasticky apparently. So let's just not do that for now. But the map will look very, very bright because we're using Stratus as, we're basing the configuration file off of Stratus, but that's for later. Now if you want the water level to be a little bit higher, you can change it later on. You can press next. Next. Do not use the light map, it's going to make it look weird. You can make this a high resolution texture if you really want to. Not sure how much you can set it, but let's just leave it what it was at, which isn't on. Now you just press OK. Let's press OK for this. You don't really need it. Shouldn't take this long, or it shouldn't take that long. Alright, and there you go. You have your terrain here. Now we're just going to export it with Control E. And file format, use bitmap. File name, just going to press the arrows. And now we're going to go to the P drive again. Tutorial all terrain. And go to the source. And we're going to call this the sat map. Then we're going to press OK. Now we're going to go to the attributes map. Control E. Save it as a BMP or bitmap. And we should be at the same place. We're going to call this the mask. Press OK. Go to the height field. Control E. And we're going to save it as an ASC. And press the more button. We're going to type in height map. Press OK. If we want to like maybe regenerate some of the stuff in case we make any height map modifications, we're just going to save this and name it I don't think the name really matters. Alright, now we don't really need this anymore, so we're just going to close it. Now we're going to go back to our source, and we're going to right click the height map and edit it with Notepad. And we're going to ensure that everything is in working order. So this isn't, so we're going to set it to 200,000. And Control save. And exit. Now we're going to be adding a map frame. Open this. And go to map frames. And add a new map frame. Should be already selected to this. By default. Press OK. And we're going to call it the same name as the terrain. Should match up with this. And whoops, I forgot to add. That should be with the namespace. And there you go. Now we're going to create subfolders. And we're going to put this to 200,000 as well, with the northing to 0. I'm going to go samplers, set this to 10. set this 512 and set this to 40 by 40. We're going to processing, and we're going to go to the layers configuration. And we're going to rebuild terrain. And we're going to press OK. Now we're going to also import all of this stuff here. First we'll start with the height map. Now we're going to import the satellite map. You can resize that, don't worry about it. And we're going to import the surface mask. Press OK. Okay, now we're going to set this all to be the same, so it fits this entire thing here. Right click it. So just add a 0 at the end here. And there you go. Now for the mask, we're going to do the same thing. Add another 0 here, so it's 5,120. And there you go. Now if you don't see this appearing, make sure to check all these in like this. You can preview it. Should be matching up. If your thing disappears, you can press fit to view, and there you go. But we're not done yet. We're going to need to ensure everything is in a PNG PA file. We're going to export these and convert textures into PA files. We're going to generate layers. Should be done quite quick because this is just a tutorial map. It'll take longer if you have bigger terrains and more high definition satellite maps. Now we're going to press OK. Alright, what's next? Alright, exporting it to a WRP. Now, this is very important. You will always need to do this every time you make any type of modification to the map. So, Control E, or I don't know what I just said there. Let's go to WRP and go to Tut Terrain, and we're going to call this Tut Terrain, and there you go. Now we're going to download the configuration file from here. Shouldn't need to change anything on it, hopefully, because we haven't changed the namespace or anything like that. So what we're going to do for this is we're going to go all the way to the tag and put the configuration file in there. Now if it's called config with a 1 in brackets, just take that out. And there you go. We're just going to check, see if everything's in working order. I should have opened it with Notepad, but this works too. So yeah, this is working here like that. Now, all we need to do now is to binarize the map. But first, let's just check to see if it's working in Bulldozer. Does this look like it's working? Don't think so. So, we're just going to Alt F4. And we're going to go back here. We're going to go back to processing, and we're going to rebuild the terrain. We're going to go back into this again. And there you go. You can now preview it, make any terrain modifications, just like this, for example. And just you can look up all the controls for this. It's pretty easy to do. Hold B, you can make this bigger, you can make it smaller, you can make it like non-existent. These red ones are more like smoothing ones. You can also press F1 to get some settings here. Video options. I don't know why this is set to very high. You might want to optimize this if it is set to things so it'll kill your computer or something. So you can see that the beach works. You can zoom in and see the ground textures. They aren't that pretty because the attribute map isn't that very high resolution. You can also change around the rock textures too. So we can alt F for this, and if we really wanted to, we could, to get the terrain, if we, to that modification we made, like the flat little thing we made, we're just gonna export the terrain, go to source, call it like height map 2, or 1, whatever you want to call it, and we're gonna import it, and we're gonna do like the old one, and we're gonna rebuild terrain. Okay, and just to be sure, we'll export to WRP again. So there you go. Now we can save this. Probably should have saved it a while back, but we'll do it again. Well, not again, but we'll do it right now. So just call it something you know, such as tut terrain. So when you go to recent projects and try to open it again, you can simply open it from here. Also, you will also need to remount your P drive every time you start up your computer again. So I do not think we need this anymore, so we could close this and we could start binarizing it, or putting it into PBO that we can use in Arma 3. So we're just going to add-on builder, play. Now what we're going to do is browse to our tag. There it is, our tag. Press OK. Should look exactly like that. I've made a folder called Arma 3 Maps on my desktop, and I'm just going to call this tutorial map, just like that, at the end. So that's what the folder will be called that will be loading. And after we do that, we're just going to close everything that's related so it doesn't have any errors. I won't binarize it, but you can if you want. It makes it so much smaller, and it also makes it so people can't really edit it. So we're going to start building. I'm going to overwrite it because I already have it done. And there you go. Now we're just going to preview it in Arma. Go to mods. And we're going to add it as a local mod. Just let me unload all of these. Get my desktop where I saved it. Arma 3 maps, tutorial map, select folder. Oops. Hold on. It's lying to me. Okay, we're gonna actually call it. Okay, I don't know what I did that. Select folder. And we're gonna play it. Alright, so my game takes a little bit to load up. I don't know why, but it just does. So I'll be back with you guys in a second. Maybe not. Alright, so after Arma 3 is loaded, just go to the editor, and there it is, my first map. By you. So let's just load the map in an editor. It's gonna give you like a bright map like this. Now if you really want to fix this, you go to your satellite map, make it darker, and import it again. So here you go. I'm not sure why there's grass under there. You can also, if you want to make it at least bearable, you can set the weather a little bit not as intense. And there you go. Now, if you want to get rid of this here, all you need to do is just put water around it in Terrain Builder, and it'll turn into an ocean instead of this giant highway. Same with that. Now that grass there, I'm not entirely sure why that's there, but I will probably fix it. Yes, I will fix it. So yeah, this is pretty much it. If you want to know how to build roads and stuff, I'd recommend visiting the actual thing I based this Instructable off, which is PMC's Ultimate Terrain Builder. It is, if you ever get confused in my Instructable, you can visit there instead. It is a lot better than mine, I'll be honest. And yeah, that's it. That easy.